right, dreamers, here we are inside the penguin playground at Melbourne Aquarium, and I'm with the wonderful Nicola, who is a senior bird keeper. Now, Nicola, what is your role here at Melbourne Aquarium?
I am a senior bird keeper here, and I work as part of a team that helps care for this exceptionally large colony of penguins.
Wonderful. Now, what does a day in a life look like for you here at Melbourne Aquarium?
Our day is very busy, and it starts off nice and early at 7:30 a.m. When we all come in, we get changed into our quarantine and snow gear.
Right.
We head out back of house. We then check all of our life support systems, which is our filtration systems that help care for our pool. And then we go straight into the exhibit to get it looking beautiful for when the public come in at about 10 o'clock. So we hose the exhibit, scrub the exhibit, shovel the exhibit. Wow. We handle about 3 tons of snow. And then we make sure we feed the birds in the morning. So we start prepping that food for the day. So we are roughly feeding around about 60 kilos. Wow. Then after morning tea, it's straight back into feeding, preparing our whites for our penguins, giving any medications that we need to, more cleaning.
Okay.
We give the penguins a vitamin each every single day.
Okay, cool.
To make sure that all their nutritional needs are met.
Right.
And when we feed them, we can individually check on each bird. We have over 70 birds here, so we individually check each bird and make sure that they're doing okay.
Okay, cool.
Then after lunch, it's a lot more feeding and a lot more cleaning,
right.
A lot more looking after our life support systems, and then getting everything ready for the end of the day.
Right, okay. And what does a diet consist of for the penguins?
So they eat fish, so they eat a variety of different species. And here we feed them trout, whiting, pilchards, whitebait and squid.
Yum.
It's all human-grade quality.
Okay.
And we make sure that we wash and check every single fish before we feed it to the birds to make sure that it's perfect condition.
Right.
And we sometimes feed up to 100 kilos of fish a day, depending on the season. Right. So it's a lot of fish to go through.
Okay. Now, I noticed that there's 2 types of penguins behind us.
Yes.
What are the 2?
So we have king penguins and gentoo penguins. King penguins are the taller individuals, and they roughly weigh around about 12 kilos. They've got that beautiful yellow colouring, which actually makes them look nice and attractive to their partners. And they're very good deep divers. They can dive up to 200 metres deep, which is insane.
Wow.
The king penguins tend to be our little sensitive jelly beans. They are a bit more like cats, we say, so they kind of like their own space.
Okay.
Whereas the gentoos, which is the 3rd largest species, and they roughly weigh around about 6 kilos, are very, very cheeky. They're like the playful puppies in the penguin world. And they are very, very fast swimmers. They can swim up to 30 kilometres an hour. And the other really cute thing about them is their orange feet. And they get their orange feet from a carotenoid in krill that they would eat in the wild, but here they get it in their vitamin that they have every day.
Okay. And now, how many penguins do we have behind us?
We have over 70 birds,
okay.
So we have quite a lot. And yes, we know each individual by name.
Wow.
And each individual bird also has a little personality.
Okay.
And we all have special bonds with the birds as well. Some of them I can tell just by looking at them, whether it be the way they stand or freckles on their face. Right. But mostly we do use those wing bands that they have.
Yeah.
So those wing bands represent a number, which is what number chick they were born in what year.
Okay.
But yeah, we all have really lovely relationships with the birds. We all have our favourites, even though we're not supposed to have favourites. Right. Mine's KT. She's my favourite. And yeah, adore working with them.
Okay. And how do you go about building those relationships with the penguins?
Yeah, it's really important for us to have trusting bonds with the birds because we look after them every day.
Yes.
And they need to trust us, whether it's coming over for feeds or if we need to handle them. So it is really important to have trusting relationships. You do so by just working with them every day when they get to know you.
Right.
But also I like to have a little sing-along with the birds in the morning. I say good morning to them.
Right. Do you have to look after them when they're sick as well?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, right.
So we do have vets that come in,
right.
But we do have to administer medications and care for them. So you do somewhat have to be a bit of a vet nurse when you work with animals, and you do have to be able to handle animals as well. So we do have to be able to catch gentoos, which is very hard, and king penguins.
Okay. And now what I wanted to do was deep dive into your career and give the people a bit of an insight in how you actually got where you are today. Was there a specific qualification that you needed to do in order to get this specific role?
Not entirely. I did do a degree in science with a major in animal health and disease.
Okay.
It's such a difficult industry to get into that having some type of degree under your belt is very helpful,
Yeah.
particularly when you're first starting out. And I've also done my certificate 3 in captive animals, which is actually a really good place to start to get into the animal industry. It's a lot more recognised now within Australia.
Okay.
So I would suggest doing that, particularly if you
Good
just
tip.
finished school.
Yeah.
And you can also get a little insight into like Zoos Victoria and stuff.
Ah, nice. Okay, cool.
So I did my degree and I then volunteered overseas.
Right.
I worked at the boarding kennels as well to get some of those skills up. And then I was just so lucky enough that I called this private zoo at the right place at the right time and they offered me a job, which was
Nice.
really just luck.
Right.
And that's how my career started about 10 years ago.
Okay. And is volunteering a big aspect to try and help build up your experience?
It is. It is very helpful. However, I know it's not necessarily easy for a lot of people to volunteer financially. So I would suggest whether it's doing it locally with our native wildlife or even trying to get, some type of job in the animal field. It can be at a pet shop, it could be at a boarding kennels, it could be, at the Lost Dogs Home, something like that.
Right.
Is really helpful. Or if you're going on a holiday, so you can just, volunteer somewhere for a week. There's so many places overseas that will accept volunteers.
Very
It's
cool.
fun.
All right. And what do you love most about your role?
There are many things I love about being a zookeeper.
Yeah.
My favourite thing is watching the animals under my care exhibit natural species-specific behaviours. So if that's penguins like singing to one another, raising chicks, playing, and it's not necessarily about my relationship with them, it's about their relationship with one another. And that's a huge part of our job, is actually making sure that they're able to do that.
Okay. And what would be the hardest aspect of this particular role?
It's a lot of physical work. It's quite exhausting. So whether it's shoveling snow here or lifting bales of hay, or, there are so many physical aspects of the job. As well as that, it can be really mentally exhausting.
Okay.
We love the animals that we care for, so you do worry about them.
Yes.
And you stress about them when you go home. So it is a lot of work. However, it's very, very rewarding at the same time.
Okay. And what would be something that someone that has no idea about your career, that would be something really, really obscure?
Oh, that's a good question. We don't play with animals all day. Not every species of animal likes to be patted.
Yeah, right. Okay.
People always think animals like to be patted, but they don't.
Okay.
I would get bitten very badly if I tried to pat a penguin.
Right, okay. And if someone wanted to follow the same exact footsteps as you, what would be some career advice that you would provide them?
I'd say just keep the love and passion for what you do. Try and volunteer or get a job as early as possible. Don't be shy to contact places, send out your CV, and just don't give up the passion for what you do.
Keep that hustle.
Keep the hustle.
Keep the hustle. All right, what we are going to do is we are going to go speak with Alex and check out some fish.